years ago, when we came to Los Angeles, I really believed that the greatness of the Raiders would be in its future.
We are live. What's going on?
Oh, you didn't know?
50-50.
Hey, it's that time, y'all.
Welcome to the 50-50 Show with PharoahNFL and the Severe Raider, the realest show for Raider Nation.
The perpetuation of the greatness of the Raiders to take a professional football team and give it a distinct characteristic that's different from all others.
Make sure to clock in, like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.
Here we go, man. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We got a great show ahead of us, man. I wish it was after a win, but hey, look, we still got a great guest, man. My guy, Ultimate Raider Fan 32, Turf. What's going on?
Turf in the building.
Got to give you the Raiders salute, man. What's up with you, man? How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. I appreciate the invite. I'm excited to be on the show, man. I'm ready to chop it up with y'all. It's unfortunate on the lack of a victory, but we still gonna get it cracked.
Yeah, no, we definitely have a lot to talk about. I had a pleasure of meeting you out in LA. Man, I wish that was a win, you know.
Man.
Especially in that heat. That heat was crazy.
Man, it was crazy.
I did not expect that, man. I expect that at all, man. But let's get the before we even get the show started.
That's the last time Turf ever coming to LA to watch a football game. So cherish that moment because it will be the last time you see Turf.
Turf, where are you based at, Turf?
I'm out of Texas, man. I'm in Austin, Texas.
Okay. All right. Well, that's not too far. You're not on the other side of the coast, but it ain't around the corner. I get you. Yeah, you gotta make sure you gotta make these games count. Especially,
I don't mind going to LA. I mean Cali for the game. It's just SoFi, the dumpster fire.
You ain't going to SoFi. Yeah, you ain't going to.
Yeah, you're right, man. I couldn't even really, to be honest, I couldn't really even enjoy it because it was so hot. Like I was just like, man, like the whole setup. I mean, and then the thing is too, our standards are pretty high just because of like Allegiant. Because I feel like I haven't been to every stadium. Maybe Turf, you could speak to this because you probably been to more stadiums than I have.
He probably been in there all of them, basically.
I got 4 left, gentlemen. I got Green Bay, Minnesota, Jacksonville, and Cleveland. Those are my 4.
Okay.
Oh,
okay.
Man.
So you've been all the top tier ones. So you've been in Jerry's World then. Oh, well, of course you in Texas, of course.
Jerry World. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I mean, as much as I love our stadium,
yeah,
it honestly can't touch the functionality of Jerry World. Jerry World is crazy.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. I don't know. It's impossible to explain.
Is that the best? That's the best football stadium?
Without a question.
Oh damn! I gotta go then. I gotta go because right now Allegiant right now is number one, but I haven't been to every stadium, so
Right.
you know,
and
it ain't a lot to.
It is number one. You know what I mean, for a lot of reasons, and I definitely would say that I could understand someone liking it better than Jerry World, but people don't understand. Jerry World was built like 2 decades ago, and it's still the best stadium. That's what I'm trying to say. Like when you look at that, and then you realize it seats over 100, and then the hospitality as far as VIP and how you can walk around everything at every level, it's just insane, man.
I mean, it makes sense, man. Texas is football is everything in Texas, so it makes a whole lot of sense. But before we get the show started, man, we gotta hit up the night crew, as we like to call it over here, man. Everybody in the chat, the nation that's pulling up, we got already, man. We got Fire Lou Getsy already. That's how the first comment of the show was Fire Lou Getsy. That's what he really wanted to say. I actually put up a poll earlier today, so we'll check that out and see what the Raiders' biggest issues according to the nation is. So we'll get into that. Man, and he's going at AP as well. AP has been all bark, no bite. Damn, like that.
Man, tell us how you really feel.
For real, man. All right. So we got head cheerleader AP. Man, Getsy called the game. AP demands run first. Getsy scheme receivers open. Minshew missed the read. All right, they're getting the football conversation already. They're trying to get into it. We'll get into all that in a little bit, man. The numbers, man. Appreciate you coming through. It's simply just win, baby. I got you.
Just win, baby.
Appreciate you coming through. Me says, let's go, man. Appreciate you coming through, man. We got everybody pulling up right now. Daniel Kim, the king of mods. Salute, Pharaoh. Salute, Severe. And our special guest, obviously, Ultimate Raider fan, man. Turf in the building, man. Appreciate him coming through. Fierce Raider 88 says, folks on here just saying all kinds of outlandish. Yeah. I mean, it is, you know. But can you blame them, though, after that type of loss? Like, at home against a team that we were supposed to be. We'll get into it. Man. Field General Dub says the Raiders need to make business decisions. They do. It sounds like it. AP sounds like. And Daniel Kim wants to remind everybody, make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We appreciate everybody coming through. And we got Thailand in the house, man. We got an international crowd out here, man. Raider Nation is worldwide. He says Thailand in the house, man. Appreciate you coming through, man. Salute. He says salute Turf, man. Yeah, everybody pulling up. Make sure to clock in. Let's get the show started, man. Let's talk about the game. Let's react to it real quick. I know we had a chance to, react to the game, but now we've had a couple of days go by. Turf, man, can you let the people know, like, what are you thinking about where the state of the Raiders are at right now as far as the team? Where can we go right now?
Yeah, Turf has come back down to reality. That Chargers game reset me in a lot of good ways, man. As you get older, you can deal with the younger crowd and really get some gems, man, some nuggets. And I've been stuck for quite some time. I think a lot of us old timers have kind of been stuck. Mm-hmm. And the reality is we just have a lot to put together. We're just not anywhere near as close as we thought. We come in with too high expectations, and I believe we're not looking at the right things to, see ourselves getting better, as opposed to this constant, right or left wing, hey, fire this one, fire that one, and it's 3 games in the season. So it's tough, man. We got some wild fans, but there is a lot of work that needs to be done, and that's the unfortunate part for a lot of us that are overly optimistic.
Yeah. Now I understand completely, because like I said, going into the game, I think if you really want to think about it, like, I felt like that stadium was blacked out, because Right. At Allegiant Stadium, we're kind of used to at this point to see a lot of opposing fans, just being that it's a, Las Vegas being a transient town, it brings a lot of different people all the way to Vegas. Now you put a sports team in there. Now you're bringing all types of fans there. So it's kind of right now it's kind of tough for the Raiders they're still building their brand, so to speak, in Vegas, and they haven't won yet. And it's like they're still building over there. So then for us to go out there, black out the stadium, and just roll over like that, it was a tough game to watch, man. And I want to get into like the energy of the team, because AP after the game, and we'll get into the AP comments, but like he has some strong words for the team. And I think this is the first time that we've seen an AP coach team where we had to question the mindset of the team, like were they even ready to play? How hard were they playing? I mean, like, I don't know. Savir, can you speak to that real quick and let the people know like what happened on Sunday?
So first off, I want to say we played 3 games this season, right? We were at the Chargers game. Would you say that most of that was a Raider friendly crowd, right? That was mostly Raider fans, right? All right. And then we go in the hostile confines in the DMV in Baltimore, and that was, and we were kind of, we were it was hostile crowd there, right? Mostly Baltimore Ravens fans, correct?
Yep.
And then we come back home to Las Vegas. The crowd is blacked out, mostly Raider fans, right? So it looks like the 2 games where we had a crowd, we lost. Maybe we need to just stay their ass home. Maybe just stay your ass home, and the Raiders will win. Because obviously playing in front of a friendly crowd has not been conducive to winning this year. So, I know a lot of people have been saying, hey, that they've been threatening. They've been talking about making business decisions with their pocketbooks in terms of not showing up to the game. Hey, maybe that might work, literally. Maybe that might help the Raiders win. But just speaking on the game, man, it's ironic because that AP had said this had been like the best week of practice. He said the offense, like everything had looked good all week. Like the team was dialed in. You would think that coming off that win against, a tough Baltimore team, but team that a lot of people expected to make a deep playoff run, if not go to the Super Bowl and possibly win the Super Bowl, winning that game in the fashion that we did, coming back from more than 10 points in the fourth quarter. I think the first time in 49 games we had done that. We had a little bit of momentum going into this game. Our home opener against a defeated Carolina Panthers team that had to make a quarterback change, just coming off of getting shellacked. You would think that there would be a situation where we want to assert ourselves and show what, we are the real deal. But I had spoke about it before, right? And that this team doesn't handle expectations well. They do not handle expectations well. Anytime you go into a situation where we're supposed to win, we never seem to be able to get ourselves up in those scenarios. And I don't understand why, and it's not just an AP thing. It's a Josh McDaniels thing. It's a John Gruden thing. It's going back for as long as I can remember. We have not handled business in situations where we need to handle business. And it seems like we win those games where people don't think we can win. And we lose those games where we should win. And we constantly seem to be playing to the level of our opponents. And we were hoping that AP would change that. And it's still time. It's still time. I'm not in a panic yet. It's 3 games in. But, we got to see some progress. We have to start seeing some progress.
Yeah. I mean, you make some great points, man. And you made that point actually before the game. And that's kind of been like what everybody's been saying after the game was like, same old Raiders. Same old Raiders, man. When you get your hopes up, right when you're thinking like, okay, this is an automatic win, take care of business, we're going to be 2-1, heading into going against the Browns, they end up, making, losing the way they did. But that being said, shout out to Phil General Dub with the super chat. Appreciate you coming through. He says the Raiders got my chest hurt, man. Hey, you need to get to the hospital as soon as possible. Because, man, we going to talk about some things that might get you in trouble, man. But, nah. But I appreciate the support. Appreciate you coming through. But, yeah, hey, James Furple, as always, he says, Raiders.
He is a simple man with a simple comment.
Yeah, comes through every time with that comment, and we finally figured out that he actually leaves comments outside of Raiders like that. For a while, for a minute, we thought that was the only comment that he'll leave is just Raiders. That's all it is. But we don't got no problem with that. But Turf, let's talk about moving forward now. Like, hey, look. It's kind of hard to talk about a game like this because it's like we could talk about everything that went wrong, from the run game, the offensive line, play calling. What do you, in your opinion, what do you see improving as far as all the issues that I mentioned, like quarterback play? Like, what's something that you could see, like, you know what, this can get better? If we're being honest, like.
Yeah, it's the offensive line is just a major problem. But we all know why the offensive line. Well, we should know why it's a major problem. I mean, Colton Miller didn't play. When did he get hurt last year? I want to say it was week 8, week 7, week 8 last year. He was only supposed to miss a game or two, right? Yeah. That turned into missing the rest of the year, which turned into missing the whole offseason, which turned into getting surgery and missing camp. He's not gelling with his guard. He's not gelling with anybody on the offensive line. The whole offensive line in general is not gelling. They have to play like a unit in order for everybody else to be successful. It's no different than any other team, right? They have to become one before all the skill positions can flourish. And that's not going to happen when your number one main guy is still compensating for an injury and can't block. It's really tough. And I mean, that's before anything moves forward, that has to improve. And another way that I see that improving is by coaching. I believe that it could be a little bit of tug and war right now between Getsy and James Gregg, the offensive line coach, right? Meaning, hey, this is the type of style I like as far as what I want you to run in this scheme as far as alignment, but that's not really Gregg's deal. Or vice versa. Who knows? But what I can tell is that the offensive coordinator and the offensive line aren't working. He's not calling the right plays for things to work based on the personnel and the people that he has, and that's the biggest problem we're having right now offensively.
Man, you made it so part of, obviously it's on the players at the end of the day. Like, they're gonna have to get that chemistry right as offensive line, but you're also mentioning the coaching as well. And that could be
it, bro. I mean, you saw the first comment. I mean, if you had a chance, shameless plug on the Ultimate Raider Fan 32, man, we have some of the best fans that are knowledgeable, and there is a lady, Peggy Holmes, that knocks it out of the park every time. And I'm so sad because she's absolutely right. Guys, we got what we wanted. We got AP, and we got to deal with getting AP, a rookie coach that is absolutely going to make a lot of mistakes and not do things right initially. And that's what you're dealing with.
Yeah. Okay. Let me ask you this. What are the mistakes that we're seeing in AP, that you're seeing in AP specifically?
He hired Luke Getsy. No, right. That's the number one, in all honesty, and I got to give Peggy her props. This is coming from Peggy, man, because she gave me such an enlightening perspective today. I mean, I hate it, but it's just facts. And now we have to reap what we sow. We have to sit in this. We all agreed AP should be the coach. We all wanted this, and now we got to eat it. And it comes with all of it, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And we're starting to see the bad and the ugly. My biggest fear right now with AP is he's such a rookie at this. He can easily lose this team even faster than McDaniels. Yeah. And none of us are going to know it, to an extent that we knew it like McDaniels, because, I mean, just his right-hand man alone and the way he played that game tells you there's a serious problem. You can't have your right-hand man that you brought in that's already been dubbed a troublemaker, an issue, a problem, and he's playing like the way he played and actually becoming an issue and a problem. If you saw in that Chargers game, I had a whole talk about that. I mean, that kid was on edge. Jack Jones was on edge the whole game. I saw AP pull him to the side, have conversations, and eventually you saw what happened. But I had seen that from quarter one. Number 5 was bad. And I think it was Chris, shout out Protect the Shield, but he actually said, hey, man, there are going to be people that target that man with the worst player on their team just to get him out of there. And it makes a lot of sense because he's a hothead. He's not mature. And we don't have a mature cornerback back there, right? I mean, Peters was who he was dealing with, right? It's a problem back there. It's a problem not having, you know what I'm saying, that old head, that OG to get these guys on track. That's why you see Jack Jones doing what Jack Jones is doing. And it's making AP look horrible because that's all on him. Jack Jones is all on him. I was warned by every Patriot fan, pretty much anybody that would give you the business, and they told you Jack is not it. He's a trouble kid.
Man.
And we're seeing it. So
Man, that's a good point, man. I didn't really look into it like I didn't think it was going to be that, but you're making great points. And if y'all haven't already, make sure to head over to Ultimate Raider Fan 32 on YouTube and make sure to subscribe to my guy and like his videos, man. We appreciate him coming through. Hey, he makes a great point about Jack Jones. But you know, I guess everybody's kind of lost within all the other issues on the team. No one's really talking about the issues with Jack Jones, but wow, I didn't look at, and that happened right in front of us. That happened on our side. I think Severe, when that fight happened at the end of the game, that Chargers game.
Yeah, definitely. But you know, we had talked about this pre-draft, and one of the biggest reasons why I was so keen on drafting the corner is, first of all, you know, I really didn't have a lot of faith in Jacorian Bennett. But second of all, you know, I talked about Jack Jones being an AP dependent player, where he's only his entire career, you know, going back from high school, he's only been productive when AP is involved in some sense, right? Whether he was his head coach at Long Beach Poly, you know, he went to SC, didn't work there. What happens to him? He reunites with AP in Arizona State, where AP is the linebackers coach, and he was defensive coordinator. Then, you know, then assistant head coach and defensive coordinator. Jack works there. Then Jack gets drafted in the league, and he's uber talented, but he gets drafted late because of his off the field issues. Goes to New England, doesn't work there. Comes to the Raiders, he's immediately productive. He seems to be an AP dependent guy, but you know, at some point, you know, now it's not Jack the high school student anymore. It's not Jack the college student anymore. It's Jack the professional, Jack the millionaire now. Like, can you really tell me what to do anymore? But I'm a millionaire, right? So I'm sure they have a good relationship, but it's, you know, at the end of the day, he's his own man. And, you know, sometimes those bad habits are going to creep up. You know, you hope that you have some leaders on the team that can kind of, you know, wrap their arms around them, you know, figuratively, maybe literally, right? And say, you know what, hey, this is not the way, brother. You're going to get washed out of the league. And we hate to see somebody with your talent see that happen to you. But, you know, it's happened to people better than you, right? You know, think about, well, it's a little bit of a different situation, but my man from Jacksonville, Justin Blackman, right? Like, that dude was a monster, and he had some demons that he just couldn't shake. You know, Josh Gordon, another guy, right? He's a guy who was a monster. He had some demons he just couldn't shake. We've seen it happen to more talented people. Now, of course, those situations were a little bit different, but it's all about self-control. And if you don't display that level of self-control needed to stay in the league will get rid of you.
Yeah.
Fast.
Yeah. Real quick, man. Shout out to D-Mokes, man. He says, play in 12 trips from now on and power run. I mean, I think that's what Zamir is hoping for. Zamir White is just hoping from some power block and scheme runs, I think, at this point, because he is struggling with that zone. Let's talk about that, Turf, real quick. Zamir.
Former running back. No.
My guys, they're going to kill.
Former running back. My bad. My former running back. I gotta correct myself real
always
quick.
A running back at heart, I guess. Always at heart a running back, but, you know.
So my problem is, man, I just really don't think the kid has gotten a fair shot. You know what I mean? As a running back, it's no different than a quarterback as far as seeing the right read to throw the ball, make that right that right step, whatever the case may be. It starts to become something after repetition, after you gain trust in your linemen, knowing you can take that cutback. There's a lot of things that hasn't happened for him as far as a running back's necessity with his offensive line. And again, that's because the offensive line itself hasn't gelled. If you recall back when JJ had the holdout, I told everybody he's not cooking until week 7, week 8. Why? He needs that time. The first 4 or 5 weeks are going to be him getting acquainted again with the offensive line, being able to read what everybody's going to do in the split second, and it's that much easier to move forward. Zeus doesn't have any of that. He has no confidence in that offensive line. He's got his head coach actually verbally speaking out loud, saying it's not him. And, it's still not giving him any confidence because of the offensive line. And until he gets that, I don't see where he's ever going to look good. I just feel bad for him. If we were to put him in Montgomery's position, as far as on the Detroit Lions, you would be saying Gibbs who? He'd have very minimal touches because I think he'd be blowing Montgomery out the water with that style of offense. We don't run that. It's very traditional. I mean, I'm sorry I sound like a broken record, but people, go check out the Detroit Lions offense. It is outstanding. I mean, how do you rush 28 times and throw 28 times in a game? There's no way you're guessing that. There's no way you can, you know what I'm saying, get a rhythm as a defense to compete against that. They just do things really well over there right now, man, and I'm jealous.
Yeah. I mean, Ben Johnson, what is he like in his 3rd or 4th year in that offense? Like he's been turning down head coaching jobs. I mean, they're like blessed right now. If you're a Detroit fan, you're pretty much you're living the good life right now because you got a coaching staff that's been together for a while. The chemistry is so good. I mean, Detroit has to be one of the contenders out there in the NFL. But you make some great points about Zamir. I've been tough on Zamir. Just because, look, at the end of the day, like, he's also made some mistakes too. And I understand what you're saying. Your point is that you can't really judge him based off the offensive line, and you've been consistent. Offensive line is the biggest issue, and everything is kind of interconnected, and it's affecting even the running game, even Gardner Minshew. Some people want AOC out there, but Gardner Minshew, I think, is probably the least of the Raiders' problems. Now, after the offensive line, where would you say the second biggest issue would be?
After the offensive line, I mean, well, the first biggest issue, in my opinion, is Getsy. The second biggest issue is the offensive line.
Let's talk about Getsy. Let's talk about Getsy.
All right. It's very obvious he doesn't know what he's doing. I mean, he's a very young offensive coordinator. I mean, where's his experience? Let's be real. He's got 2 years of being an offensive coordinator with no success. I mean, playoff wins, at least an NFC championship. I'm not saying you got to win the Super Bowl. It'd be nice to get there. You know what I mean? But you got to show me something to where, the stats make sense. I mean, you can't count Chicago. Again, shout out to Peggy. Everyone talked about, we're going to have a decent running game because of his running scheme. Look at Chicago. They had a great running game. 46% of that running game came from the quarterback, Fields. That's not a good running game. That you see what I'm saying? But that's where the stats will lie to you. That's where, the perception is wrong. I thought they actually did have a great running game, and I actually back that up until she brought that point up. And I'm like, wow, it's disheartening. And that's who we hired. That's who AP hired. Again, we can't let him off the hook for this stuff either. It's a rookie mistake. It's a rookie mistake. The number one thing he should have said is, if I can't get who I want, then I'm going to pout and take my ball and go home. He should have played a chicken because it was by far the biggest decision he had to make in his career, and he got it wrong. He got it completely wrong.
Yeah. Facts. 100%. I agree with you 100% because when Getsy got hired, I did not like it at all because he was like probably my least favorite candidate that was out there. I know we interviewed the now OC of the Patriots. Can't forget it. I'm forgetting his name. Alex Van Pelt. Obviously, Cliff Kingsbury was the first option. Getsy wasn't the number one option. It was Cliff Kingsbury. So when they didn't get him, I think the Raiders were scrambling, and I think they panicked. Yep. But in reality, there was still a big fish out there, and it was out there. It was a coach out there with San Francisco. He was the OC, I believe, Clint Kubiak. He was a QB coach, I believe. Kubiak, who now is the OC for the Saints, who got their offense rolling. I mean, last game, they played. Exactly. It was a tough game, but early returns look like Clint Kubiak. He knows what he's doing out there. He has Derek Carr playing good football. He's getting the best guys the football, and that's guys like Kamara, who's obviously super talented. He's balling. And then you got all those weapons out there that the Saints have. So Clint Kubiak, he's doing his thing with the Saints, and that's a guy that the Raiders could have at least brought in for an interview. I don't even think they brought him in for an interview. Nope. And you're running this zone blocking scheme. That's a guy that, if you're going to run a scheme that historically, I mean, some people will make points about the Raiders trying to run what everybody else are running, and it never works.
Right.
But if you're going to run something like that, why don't you get the best? Why don't you take a coach from a, Kyle Shanahan coaching tree, which I feel like that's a high percentage that it's going to work out. If you look around the league, you grab someone from a Sean McVay coaching tree or Kyle Shanahan coaching tree, it's most likely going to work out. But, I'm with you. I agree with you 100% with the Lou Getsy. I'm hoping at this point that it gets better, but it doesn't look too good. I mean, AP is already calling. It seems like he's calling out Getsy after the game. If you heard some of the comments talking about the scheme and this, look, I know he's not talking about Patrick Graham. We all know he ain't talking about Patrick Graham.
Not the Yale graduate.
Yeah. Now, I'll add this before we move it along because there were some big injuries that we got to talk about, and then we'll talk about the impact of that. Another thing that we haven't brought up, because I know we're blaming AP for the hiring of Getsy. Do we hold Davante Adams responsible for the hiring of Getsy? Because I know at the end of the day, coach makes the final decision, but just the other day, or actually recently, I think it was today, he was recently on a podcast saying that he feels he was saying the Raiders lean on him when it comes to the quarterback decision and what he thinks. So that leads me to believe, I'm sure they asked him about Lou Getsy in his time. I'm sure they asked him about it because he played under him. So do you hold Davante Adams accountable, or is it just 100% on?
I'm actually, honestly, looking at Davante a little sideways in general right now. He's not doing what he expects of himself, let alone what we expect of him. He's way off the mark right now. The amount of drops, the woe is me attitude, the throwing the arms up and, acting like a child when things aren't going his way. As a veteran that should be wearing a gold jacket, first-time Hall of Famer, ballot, it is a little puzzling to me, and I just can't understand his behavior right now. It's the last thing we need. Yeah. He needs to be leading by example, not doing what he's doing. So I'm actually a little ticked with him all the way around. And absolutely, I put some of this on him. If you're going to stick your neck out there and say they're taking notes from you, well, then you got to stick your neck out there when it's time to get that heat.
Yeah. I mean, last game, I felt like he had some of these catches, but he wasn't securing the football. And I guess you count that as a drop because they're coming in and swiping at the ball. And at the end of the day, one of them looked like a fumble. I think one of them almost looked like a fumble, but they didn't call it. It is what it is. Yep. We'll take that. But yeah, Davante definitely got to play better. And it was a whole, like last game was a complete team loss. complete team loss. That being said, Chili Willie says Zeus is McFadden in the zone blocking system all over again. Hey, that's a good comparison a little bit because I felt like
square peg in a round hole.
Yeah, because I felt like if you guys remember, McFadden really blew up when Hugh Jackson took over at OC and asked him. We all remember that story where he talked to McFadden. Hey, what are your plays that you like? And the rest is history. McFadden had a pretty good 2-year run until injury set in. But that's
wow, gentlemen. Honestly, in my opinion, that's how you know you have a good leader, just period, across the board. And that's almost damn near in anything that's being done, particularly when you're trying to win as a team. You'd be foolish not to ask people where they think their biggest strengths are, what they do best, and fit that into your scheme. It's always these guys, these arrogant, guys that think they know it all, and you're gonna fit my system or you're out of here. You're not gonna win that way. If you don't know how to fit your system around the players that you currently have, never gonna work. And Getsy is proving that he has no idea what to do with the people we have. No idea.
I'm just trying to figure out, what did AP see in Getsy other than, like, all we know is that what he said in the presser, like, the last time we played against him, he did a pretty good job. Like, it's like, I don't know.
So y'all have heard the whole Jekyll and Hyde, right? Y'all have heard of Anthony's verse. I think this man is a rookie, and he's starting to realize I am in this pretty deep and probably over my head. I don't think he has the full autonomy to make decisions. I don't think Getsy was fully his choice. I don't think there's a lot of things that is fully his choice. And he gets out there and starts to run his mouth and doesn't realize that he's being Antonio from Compton as opposed to Anthony from Southern Cal. And it's causing mixed emotions and the flip-flopping, and no one knows what the hell to expect. It's like, dude, are you going to be the violent, guy that's going to call every and anybody out at all times? Or are you going to try to crawl back into this, Anthony from Southern Cal and, play the political side of things? I don't know. I mean, I don't care which one you do. Just pick one and stick with it. Pick one, stick with it, and lead that way. But it can't be both ways. It just can't.
Nah. Right.
Shout out to Protect the Shield, man. I appreciate you coming through, my guy, Protect the Shield. Make sure to subscribe and head over to Protect the Shield and subscribe to my guy. We got to, appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to hit that like button, clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Let's actually get into some of the big injuries that happened over the weekend that we found out. One we found out was much more serious than we thought. Was Malcolm Kuntz he's officially out for the season. And recently as last game, Epps is now out for the season. Let's talk about the impact of the loss of those two players. Turf, like in Severe, you could chime in as well. Like, can you all talk about what would you say is the bigger loss, Epps or Kuntz?
I'll let you grab it, Turf.
Yeah, go grab it, Turf.
Kuntz, 100%. Kuntz. Epps has been having a rough start. Both of our safeties, in my opinion, have been having a rough start for whatever reason. I don't know if they're putting something in the drinks, but they're not taking angles. They can't tackle.
Yeah.
Don't understand it. So it's absolutely Kuntz as far as, having no depth as well. That's the other big issue with that edge. Shout out to my guy Rundown, man. He had been saying well before preseason draft, all of it, like, man, we need an edge guy. If we get, hurt, just one guy, and look at us now. So I really think that is the problem between not having Kuntz, high ankle sprain on Crosby, Janarius making me look like an idiot, and, Snowden just needing to put a 25-pound weight in his ass.
Man,
I mean, we're just depleted as edge rushers, and there's no way you're going to win in the NFL without pressure.
Well, Snowden has no business being out there. I mean, he's an undrafted free agent. Like, shouldn't be out there. They should have had someone on the team that should be able to. But like you said,
they thought they did. That's the problem.
They thought they did.
They thought they did, and that's the issue. That's the issue. And I completely agree with Turf. Right? I mean, it's for as important as Marcus Epps is, just in terms of communication on the. I was about to pull a Pharaoh, but communication in the secondary. You know what word I was about to say? For communication in the secondary.
Mike Epps. He was going to call him Mike Epps.
Man, so as important as it is for communication back there, and Epps, and we know that Epps last year Epps had a tremendous positive influence on Trevon Merrick. That influence hasn't carried over to this year, and we noticed that when AP took over, and the defense really started taking off, that coincided with the emergence of Malcolm Koonce as one of the best pass rushers in the league. And the pass rushing grades, the pressures, all that stuff bears that out. And what he was able to do on the opposite side of Max Crosby, I mean, I've said a number of times, there were several games where teams were saying, you know what, we're going to send doubles and chips at Malcolm Koonce. We'd rather this our right tackle block Max Crosby one-on-one than let Malcolm Koonce destroy this game. So I think that is a huge blow. And in terms of edge, man, we all assumed, well, not everybody, because I've been saying it, but most people assumed that we had a guy last year. We drafted a guy top 7 last year who, hey, you know what, this guy should be able to step into that role and maybe not duplicate what Koonce was doing, because like I said, Koonce was playing at an elite level, but play at an above average level. You are a top 10 pick in the NFL draft. You got a full off season. You got out there. You was taking your creatine. You was lifting your weights. You out there. You posing like a bouncer, standing next to John Jenkins, looking all swole. And it's that play that hasn't translated to the field. You was at the Pass Rush Summit. We thought maybe that would be a little bit something. Hey, you're around all these other alphas, some of the best pass rushers in the league. Maybe you'll pick up a nugget or two, and you can take that into the season. And it just hasn't materialized, man. So I think we're in big trouble. I know the hope was, having Christian Wilkins on the inside, that could help a little bit. You get some pressure up the middle, but even with him and with Max, it's still not enough. So edge is something that definitely needs to be addressed. My top defensive player this past draft, everybody I had 2 guys I was on. It was Latu and it was Quinion Mitchell. And it looks like both of those guys would have been great additions. We could have traded back and selected either one of them.
I'm just going to push back a little bit. I agree that Koonce is a bigger loss than Epps, obviously, but I think the Raiders were fine until Max got hurt. Because Max was still getting there, still getting pressure. Him and Wilkins are running stunts, and no one could stop it. I didn't think it was a big issue until Max got slowed down by that high ankle sprain. That's where you seen the loss of Koonce. That loss of Koonce really hurts when you got a guy like Max Crosby, obviously arguably the best player on the team, best player on defense. But real quick, Milk Abeezy says, we tried to interview Kubiak, but I think he chose the Saints. No, I heard there was interest, but they didn't want to wait. That's the problem. They didn't wait to interview him. They never got a chance to get around to interview him. And I agree. Kubiak and Zach Robinson.
Yeah, but I say the other guy from Zach Robinson, yeah.
Sean McVay tree. That's the guy from the Sean McVay tree. He from the Rams. But I think it was kind of a done deal because if you guys, the head coach, Raheem Morris, he was the defensive coordinator for the Rams.
Yeah, Atlanta is just Atlanta.
Bro, they making all the right moves. They making all the right moves.
I'm dropping an atomic bomb in Atlanta, bro. I'm destroying everything, bro. They took our offensive coordinator. They took our quarterback. It's like, dang, dog.
I agree, man. We're taking the page from the Packers book, man. They're set for the next decade at quarterback. They don't got to care about
man, I hate the Falcons, man. They're taking the offensive coordinators that we want. They taking the quarterback that we wanted. Man, we do play them on Monday night, so hopefully, the Raiders blow them out, on national TV. But anyways, but Epps. Let's talk about Epps real quick. I mean, that's a big loss in the secondary. I mean, he's a veteran safety. I remember everybody talked about how he was a big influence on Trayvon Moehrig, but he's kind of struggling too. With missed tackles and there. I mean, you can go to that Chargers game, that first game. J.K. Dobbins, who right now is lighting the league on fire right now. I'm not gonna lie, like he's looking like arguably the best running back in the league right now, the way he's playing and running the football. But talk about the loss of Epps. Do you think that's a big loss, or do you think that's just going to be, you know what, we can find someone better on the team that can step up? Because we drafted a safety the last couple years in the later rounds. Trey Taylor, I think he's hurt. I'll be back in a second, but is there anyone on the roster do you feel like that could step up at that spot? Turf.
Yeah, I think both of those guys behind, right? You got Smith and Palomao, right?
Yep.
I think both of those guys have the opportunity to step up and shine. I mean, and in fact, that's what I would hope. That's what I was hoping for Janarius Robinson, seeing the opportunity and seizing it. I think Palomao has a chance to do that. Smith maybe a little, the lights might be too bright for him, but yeah, I think we have the people to do it. I think the depth is there. That's one of the parts of the team that I wasn't worried about as far as injury is concerned. As you already stated, I know Trey Taylor, I'm pretty sure he's on the practice squad, right, because of the injury. But we already still have two guys back there, so we should be fine there. They are serviceable, even if they're not Epps or above average, if you will. They're still serviceable. So, and that's the key to, he's gone for the season, so he's not coming back, but at the same time, you can still win with serviceable people.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on that right now. Right now, the Raiders need to get healthy, especially, Max. We need Max to get healthy because that defense did not look the same when he's not 100%, especially when we just talked about Kuntz being out and obviously, the injuries right now with Epps. So hopefully the Raiders can figure out a way. I mean, they've done it in the past, like Severe said, when they have expectations, that's when they haven't figured out a way to win. But when they don't have expectations, because right now everybody's doubting them, we'll see what happens next week against the Browns. But let's get into the chat real quick. Young Cheese says, let's be real, chat. Our GM Tom has more power than AP. Look at the all 22 Minshew reads is bad. He's missing. That's another thing to another piece of this. We can talk about AP, but I feel like Telesco is the guy that's like right now. For example, we made a move. Like I feel like we haven't made any moves to upgrade the roster. And I talked to a Chargers fan when I was out there in LA, and I asked him like, hey, so what do you think Telesco? Like he was out with you guys for like more than 10 years, and he said, man, you guys, man, I like your team. I like AP, but Telesco, like one of the biggest frustrations they had was the fact that he didn't build a team with depth. All those years that the Chargers were hurt, players would get hurt, and then Chargers always falter because they didn't really have a lot of depth. And then on top of that, he mentioned they never really made moves. Like when in-season moves, he was never aggressive to upgrade the roster. And this is what he had to say because he's a big Charger fan. I know that they're out there. There's big Charger fans out there. I was surprised when I was in LA. I was like, oh, damn, you exist. But he made some good points because we noticed that, early on, like, and we went during the draft, we're like, man, like, is Telesco, can we foresee Telesco trading up to get a quarterback? And lo and behold, that didn't happen because there was an opportunity. We were all shocked by Atlanta taking Michael Penix. But at number 6, the Titans took an offensive tackle. They could have took an offensive tackle at 13 if the Raiders came with a nice offer. Just saying, putting it out there. I mean,
I got to say this. The Chargers have had a Super Bowl team for some time. I don't know where this guy is saying they haven't had any depth. Their problem was the exact opposite. They had literally the worst coach in the NFL for 5 years with all that talent. That was not Telesco's fault. That was the idiot owner not firing the head coach that needed to be fired after year 2, not year 5, year 2. He should have been fired. They wasted all that talent on terrible front office and coaching. So I vehemently disagree with whoever thinks Telesco didn't draft well. And in fact, if you go and look, I mean, I think it is exactly that. They had depth at every position. People got hurt at every position. It's just they didn't have a coach that knew how to coach. I
agree.
Terrible.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with the coaching decisions have been questionable for Telesco. He didn't have that opportunity this time around because the coach was already in place with AP. But I think what he was trying to say is that they drafted, they had some good top end talent, but they weren't able to build a team with depth because once those players got hurt, it was all bad. Just like if Max goes out, there wasn't a Kuntz back there. You know what I mean? Like I can see it a little bit when he's saying that because look, what do we know about the Chargers? They get hurt and they always choke in the end. Like, I mean, they always choke.
Yeah. Chargers going to Charger.
Yeah, Chargers are going to Charger at the end of the day. But yeah, man, appreciate the comment, Young Cheese. Let's move it along real quick, man. So, Turf, appreciate you coming through to the 50-50 show. But on the show, we have this thing called Flag on the Play. And it is that time of the show, man. So we appreciate you. And we're going to introduce you to this segment. This is where we talk about issues around the NFL, including the Raiders that we have issues with, and chime in. Chime in when
69.
And it's that time.
He was giving them the business.
So this week on Flag on the Play, if you want, Severe, if you want to give the intro to one of the topics for Flag on the Play real quick.
Yeah, man. So a guy that was some Raider fans wanted. Some Raider fans wanted at the top of the draft, right? A lot of people were keen on this quarterback. He left Oklahoma, went to USC, with his head coach Lincoln Riley, and he was the can't miss quarterback prospect. He was the number one quarterback prospect by just about everybody, except some people who shall go unnamed. But he's gotten into the league, and some of the issues that were pointed out have started to rear their ugly heads. One of them being, does this guy have the right attitude and leadership qualities to have success in the NFL? And we saw that on full display when another young quarterback that originally had success attempted to extend an olive branch and some wisdom, and he was rebuffed.
All right, here we go. Let's see.
Good job out there, bro.
Yeah.
Hey,
Keep going.
stop taking those hits.
Yeah, I know.
Hey,
Yeah.
learn from those mistakes, and everything that you got, bro, is in you already, bro. You're gonna be a hell of a player in this league.
Yeah.
All right, boy.
Appreciate it.
For sure. Good job out there, bro.
Yeah.
So that was the in-game interaction, and this is, I think you had the because a lot of people were talking about how his reaction, Caleb Williams' reaction to the advice, and if you look at his body language, he didn't want to talk. To be fair, though, they lost. They just lost the game, and he played terrible. You know what I mean? The Chicago Bears offense has been, it's kind of been a mixed bag to start the season. So I'll give him that, but it seemed like he was a little bit defensive when he approached him and tried to talk to him. And this is CJ Stroud talking about it and kind of like pretty much saying that, hey, look, I didn't mean anything by it, but let's go ahead and play this clip.
I had some of the best advice given to me last year, and me and Caleb, I was not trying to like treat him like I was trying to like little bro him or nothing. He knows that too. I have a ton of respect for him. I told him I have respect for him. But I had so many guys coming to me after games last year, and that meant the world to me. That those guys even thought about giving me advice. So I just try to get back to what the game has given to me. So I wish him the best, man. I want him to do amazing in this league. I think he will. I think that he'll get his groove. And once you get your rhythm, I didn't get my rhythm until like week 3, week 4. So I can see his game picking up from here. And so, and you know, I don't think he was trying to like, you know, be any towards away. He just upset that they lost. I totally understand. So I have a ton of respect for that guy, man. I want him to do extremely well, just like any other guy until we play on that day. You know what I mean? And after the game, we can be cool. You know what I mean? But I'm definitely, you know, rooting for him and want to see him do extremely well.
So that's C.J. Stroud pretty much, you know, defending that him coming up to him. I mean, he shouldn't even have to explain himself. I think he had the right intentions. He was just going there, just giving them. It's just the way Caleb Williams reacted when you seen it. I mean, Turf. I mean, do you think Caleb Williams is? Does he? Do you see him succeeding in the NFL?
Look, I was one of the few.
Trevor Lawrence isn't right now, so
right. Well, I was one of the few that absolutely wanted nothing to do with the kid. Severe put a lot of that out there already for me as far as the character, et cetera, leadership. I didn't see it either. But I have to defend him here. It's a loss, ladies and gentlemen. It's the third loss in a row. It's not working well for him. You have to give grace here. Not everybody's going to learn how to take losses like this, especially when they're used to constantly winning. Don't get me wrong. Yes, he did not win as much his senior year, but previous to that, he could probably count on one hand how many times he had lost in the last decade. Mm-hmm. That's an adjustment that's going to take time. And I get it, right? You get it. And it's easy for me to say hindsight. Yeah, you got to be more of a professional and learn how to fake that, you know what I mean, interaction and know how to do it right, even though it's burning up inside and you kind of want to rip his head off at that time. But these are things that come with the experience. And that's what happens as you grow, you get older, and then you're the one that's doing it, right? Sometimes it happens earlier for some than others, which is why C.J. Stroud has that ability. I mean, the kid's outstanding.
Right.
But I'm not going to fault him for that. But at the same time, I do stand on what I've said about him, and I don't think he's the type of leader that you're looking for at the quarterback position in the NFL. He's going to have to show me that, and it still hasn't shown it. So.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying. You're giving him a little bit grace, but we still got to say it's a flag, just because
100% it's a flag on the play.
It's a flag on the play. Because this C.J. Stroud came in there with the right intention, like, hey, man, you're going to get better, all this. And he was just looking at him like, why are you talking to me? That's the energy that he was giving him. Why are you talking to me? I'm trying to leave. You know what I mean? But
man, look, Turf is better than me, bro. I'm giving this dude no grace at all. He gets no leash, no rope, none of that, bro. None of that. This is the same dude, and this is the kind of person he is. That's why, bro, like I said, I know people that know that run in those circles. I'm in SoCal. I know people that run in those circles that know what kind of dude he is. He's not that. He's like I said. He's not a guy that's a leader. Also, how he handles things, right? The perfect situation when Max Duggan and TCU, when they lost the national championship game and Max Duggan was crying, Caleb Williams was dogging him. And then Caleb loses a regular season game to Michael Penix. He's in the crowd crying in his mother's arms, right? Like, how do you handle losses? That tells me a lot about how you are as a man. And perfect example. This is another example, right? So if that wasn't the case, because there was 2 situations where he cried during a loss, you know, and people criticized him for it. So you would think that as a person who is striving to be the best professional he can be, would say, you know what, dang, people criticized how I handle losses. It's not a good reflection of me as a person or as a leader or as a football player. Let me work on that. So you have an opportunity to go against a guy who last year was in basically the exact same situation as you, a flailing franchise who many people said was the worst situation in all of football. This guy took this team, was in the MVP conversation most of the year, took them to the playoffs and won a playoff game. His second year in the league, he's considered a top 7 quarterback in the league. This guy is taking the time out of his day to extend some advice to me. You would think that I would listen, but instead of listening, I would rather be a sore loser and rebuff any opportunity or any advice you're giving me, bro. That's not a leader. That's not somebody that I see as mature. That's not the guy I want to be the face of my franchise. You have to be graceful in defeat, but graceful in victory as well. And Caleb Williams doesn't seem to be either.
That boom, mic drop, fire, everything. Yeah,
mic drop, man.
You're right. I give too much grace sometimes, and I'll admit I probably definitely give him way too much grace because it's like you said, it's the same old, same old. It's nothing new. We knew that was exactly who he was. So great.
But to continue on with flag on the play, the fans right now, man, they're already calling out Gardner Minshew after obviously the Raiders lost last weekend, and they're calling for a starting job. They want to see AOC out there. We got to call a flag here. We got to because the issues we talked about it. I felt like the one thing that we didn't even talk about even before quarterback, the defense too. We didn't really get on the defense a little. We talked about Jack Jones, but that run defense right now has to be concerning. Every game that we played, we've given up big plays against the run. We've been struggling. And after a while, that's going to take a toll on the defense, and teams are going to take advantage. And that's something that we got to talk about. But we also got to call out the fans right now who are saying Gardner Minshew should not be the starter when technically he's not really getting protected out there. You know what I mean? And what is a guy like AOC going to do when a guy like Minshew, who I'm not saying he's the greatest runner, but he has a lot more mobility than AOC? Turf, I mean, do you agree that this is a flag on the play?
100%. I mean, and everybody knows that I am pro AOC. I am all about AOC. I actually thought he won the winning job, and I wanted him to start. So for me to tell people that you're crazy, says a lot in my opinion. I do not want Gardner Minshew benched. I don't want AOC playing. I didn't want AOC playing in the game against the Panthers. I actually didn't even realize he was playing until literally like the last drive. I was like, oh wow, they put him out there. I don't know why. Let him sit and develop. I am old school when it comes to that, particularly with quarterbacks, because just so many of them come and go from not having the ability to be developed. It's why I keep, woofing about Sam Darnold, right? That kid got passed around like, right? He went to a horrible team to start, had nobody in the vicinity for help, and then everybody's clowning him because he's quote unquote seeing ghosts. You go play quarterback with a terrible offensive line, no weapons, and you're a rookie and see if you're seeing ghosts. Now the kid's 3-0 and he's got Jefferson down the sideline, it seems, every quarter. I'm happy for him. I don't know what else to say from that respect, but definitely flag on the play, man. Minshew he should not be benched.
Right.
At minimum week 8, reevaluate. At minimum.
Yeah. No, facts. We agree with you 100%. That's why we had it as a flag on a play. I think what it is that fans are really frustrated with the team and the offense. And I think the easy answer is like, oh, we need to change quarterback. But it's not really that simple. The issues are bigger than just a quarterback. We kind of knew what we have going into the season as far as the quarterback room is. It's just that we thought we would have a better run game. We thought we would have better offensive line play. And, according to the Raiders and AP, they thought that the play calling was probably going to be better too. So, it is what it is. But Severe, man, if you want to chime in on this.
Yeah, man, it's a situation where It's way too early, right? Like if these same people that are calling for Gardner's job, if this was Aiden O'Connell, they wouldn't be like, oh man, it's time to move on for Aiden O'Connell. I've
Yeah.
seen enough. I've seen enough
Yeah.
of this Aiden guy. Like let's see what this Gardner do. Like no, not at all, right? Like we are sitting at 1-2 going into this Cleveland game, a very winnable Cleveland game. Most of us thought after 4 games we would be 2-2. I think that's the record that most people said, hey, you know what? This is about the record we would be. And if Gardner is able to get us to that record, he should keep the job. So he has an opportunity to get us to that record. Now, if he goes out and he puts out a dud against Cleveland, I think at that point Antonio Pierce will start to press a little bit, and I could see him making some changes. I think it would still be premature just because these guys, it's still a lot that needs to gel with this team, right? The running game hasn't gelled, the offensive line hasn't gelled. I don't think he's all the way on the same page with some of his receivers in terms of, you see him like some miscommunication stuff with Devante. I already talked about that play in week 1, that backwards pass. I already said I felt that was a miscommunication between him and Devante. That probably should have been a stop route in that situation if the DB's playing 8 yards off of you. You can run that stop route, get an easy 4 or 5 yards there. I think he assumed Devante was going to do that. He didn't, and tried to pull it back and end up being a fumble. So I think there's a lot of machinations that just aren't they aren't really working right now. Offensive line is bad. Play calling it's hit and miss. We all thought Brock Bowers was the king of the world. And then teams start paying attention to him, and then what do you do this game? So it's a lot of stuff that has to go on. Michael Mayer hasn't been getting involved. Jacoby Myers really didn't get involved until the Carolina Panthers were playing prevent and saying, hey, we're just going to keep everything in front of us and rally and tackle. And then Jacoby Myers rattles off 5 receptions in a row or whatever. So it's a lot that has to go on. I think chief among them, we have to have some kind of threat of the run. When you run the ball one time one time by your running back the entire second half, like that's an issue. You had a total of 13 runs by running backs. That's an issue. You need to be able to run the ball in the National Football League. We've seen teams that are running the ball well. There are the teams that are winning right now, right? You talk about the Chargers, right? J.K. Dobbins is leading the league. I think he's leading the league in rushing right now, right? And the Chargers have had a good record. That and play defense. You need to protect your quarterback. Look at Justin Fields. I think the Steelers are 3-0. If you look at that, like, oh man, this guy Justin Fields, he's having a resurgence. And you watch the games, he's like, man, Justin Fields is still trash. He's still trash. It's just the defense is carrying them. And that's what we're not getting right now. We're not getting that same production on defense like we thought we would, and we're not getting anything out of the run game.
Severe is still president
till the day I die
of the Justin Field hate club. Hey man, but now I agree, man. There's too many other issues for us to even talk about Minshew. I think Minshew, just like Turf mentioned about Zamir, even though I've kind of been tougher on Zamir just because I felt like, he doesn't really have any moves. And when I think of a running back, I think of a guy that can at least make people miss. And even in opportunities where he's caught the ball and he had a defender right in front of him, there have been times where he's just getting tackled real easy in open field. And it's like, man, I really don't want that out of running back. But we got to give him a little bit of grace, because the offensive line has been struggling. So I agree with that 100%. But yeah, that's pretty much flag on a play. I was trying to find we do have another flag on a play, but I can't find that picture, Severe, of a Cleveland Browns player having a bad. Did I send it to you? Oh man, I didn't. I guess I didn't.
You sent it to the group chat. Me and Mike. Group chat with me and Mike.
Okay, let me just pull this up real quick. But yep.
I was gonna say shout out to Raider Pete, man. We met Raider Pete, 805 Raider, Leak Cheeto, a bunch of us on the way walking into the tailgate, man. We had no idea until he said, "Hey, I'm Raider Pete." So
hey, shout out, man.
Raider Pete. It was good meeting you.
Shout out Raider Pete, man.
I enjoy meeting people that support us and really look out for all of our talent and our content, right? Because we got some heavy hitters, man. This show is outstanding. The 50-50 show, please believe it. This is where it's at.
Appreciate that.
I'm dying to get on this show.
Man, we were trying to get you on. We trying to get you on
We
for a
really
minute,
trying to
man.
get you on, man.
Man.
So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there, Raider Pete, man. We appreciate you, man. It was amazing getting to meet you for real, boss.
Nah, salute, man. Turf is a man of the people, man. Turf travels all over this is a dude that puts his money where his mouth is. He travels all over the country, spending money, supporting this team, man. So like when he speaks on something, this is coming from a guy that's really out there living that Raider life. He says he's the ultimate Raider fan. Like, there's a reason he says it. Like, this dude, how many games you going to this? How many games? You said 13 or 14 games this year you going to?
11.
11. Okay.
There you go, man.
Okay, so 11. That's
11. Yeah, again, I'm toning them down, right? Because
it would have been more, but he ain't coming back to SoFi. That's the only reason there's not more.
That Rams game, everybody like, you couldn't play me to go.
The only reason there's not more.
You're right. Because,
real quick, salute to Raider Smoke for the super chase, my guys. Salute, man. Appreciate you coming through, man. Raider Smoke, man. Had a post game show the other day, man. Make sure to subscribe to my guy, one of the up and coming new Raider content creators. So make sure to go ahead and go to Raider Smoke 89 on YouTube, man. Appreciate you coming through. But yeah, real quick, let's go ahead and share the third flag on the play, man. So this was actually taken during a game. During a game at the Cleveland Browns game. Did not care at all.
At all. Not even
takes a whole Ziploc bag of weed right there, man. I don't know if he's gonna get it.
Man, those are pistachios, bro. Those are pistachios. This ain't
right.
Hey,
Right.
That's pistachios, brother. Damn,
You're right.
Really, can a brother enjoy some trail mix on the bench without y'all?
Definitely some trail mix.
Aspersions?
Yeah, man. Some Skittles, maybe. I don't know. Maybe something, man. Something. But yeah, definitely flag on the play. This is a team that we're playing this week. They're going through their own problems at quarterback with Deshaun Watson, where they literally traded the house, the mortgage, the everything for Deshaun Watson to get pretty much nothing. He does not look like the same player. But now they got players. Players are going through it over there. They're on the bench, like, you know what? I'm just going to spark up right now. I just can't take this anymore. This is a real picture, by the way. This is not fake. This is all over social media. It went viral. But yeah, this is definitely a flag on a play.
5 a.m. text. You getting that 5 a.m. text for real.
Yeah. Well, hey, I don't know. I mean, the cameras are everywhere, especially at the game. But the picture's cut off. We don't know who this is, but
the NFL knows.
Yeah, the NFL knows for sure. NFL knows. Definitely flag on a play. So we had to talk about that real quick. But let's get back in the chat real quick before we move it along. Man, we appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We are going live on both channels, me and Severe. So make sure if you're watching it from either, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button. And we got a special guest over here, Ultimate Raider Fan 32. He's all over social media with that name, as well as YouTube. My guys, my mods, if you can post the links. You guys ain't subscribed, man. This guy's spitting knowledge left and right. So go ahead and go over his channel and subscribe. But let's move it along, man. We got people pulling up left and right. Let me go ahead and pull up something here. Let's see here. This is man. I'm literally behind. I'm trying to catch up. People talking about Jacobs. Let's see. Here we go.
What Jacobs doing Sunday? That's people. What did he do on Sunday? What are you doing Sunday?
Well, technically he's top 10 in rushing. He's number 6. So I don't take that. Take that for every.
Them some Derek Carr stats, bro. He had one good half the entire year. One good half the entire year.
I think we can officially say that Severe is in he's the president of the Josh Jacobs hate club too. You know what I mean? He's not the biggest Josh Jacobs fan.
I keep it funky, man. I keep it funky. He had a dominant half in game 2, and then they shut him down the second half. And then he came out this last game, played like trash the entire first game outside of 2 carries. So, he putting up them Derek Carr stats. This is nice.
Daniel Kim, he wants to speak on one of the flags on a play. He says, I'm a USC fan and Caleb ain't the one. His jersey's retired in the stadium seats, but what did he bring to SC outside of the Heisman? Absolutely nothing. No top 10 finish, no natties, nothing. Hey man, if that ain't deserve this right here, man. He shots, man. At the end of the day, what Al Davis say just win, baby, and he said Caleb didn't do none of that.
At all.
None of that.
I didn't want.
Yeah. Hey, man. But now we appreciate everybody coming through, man. I'm trying to get through this chat. Everybody's having conversations in here. Yvonne has a random off-topic question. He says, good evening. Question. What's your opinion on Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson?
Jesus.
They shouldn't be fighting.
Who?
That's the mouth.
At all.
They shouldn't be fighting. Like
Never.
Mike Tyson is boxing royalty. He should not be down there kicking it with some randos, right? Like that's it's entertainment, it's money, but he shouldn't even lend his name, image, or likeness to that clown show. But
I agree. The only reason I'm okay with it is because it gives them cash.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Know about the fight game. At the end, it's really not. It's not kind to.
Mike Tyson just
Bring me my money.
literally, he's like, "Bring me my money." They're getting paid for that. Yeah,
it's called prize fighting for a reason, man, and he's in it for the prize.
Yeah, definitely don't want to see it because I feel like Jake Paul has no business being in the same building as Mike Tyson.
And breathe Mike Tyson's air. Right? He should breathe Mike Tyson's air, man.
But hey, respect to Jake Paul too, because he put in a lot of work. He's gotten better, but he shouldn't be fighting professional fighters, man, like all-time greats. Like
60-year-old men. Let's keep it up.
Yeah. That's cold. That's cold. And he thinks, and the thing is, there's a chance where Mike Tyson can knock him out, but I think Jake Paul's going into it like, oh, I know I could beat him because he's lost.
He's an old man.
Yeah, he's an old man, and then he's going after the name. He's going after the name, like Mike Tyson. Everybody, like he's just going after the name. But he's lost against every fighter. I mean, every actual boxer, because he lost to Tyson Fury's little brother.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. He lost. I think he lost to. No, I know you're talking about Tyson Fury's brother. He lost to somebody else too, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna act like I watch all the fights.
I don't watch Jake Paul.
I'll be honest with you, but I do know that I noticed that a lot of his fights are against like UFC fighters, so he knows that he has an advantage over some of these guys. So he's very strategic. But the times that he's fought like an actual boxer, I felt like he's lost or he wasn't as good as he was with other fighters. But it is what it is, man. It's a business, entertainment at the end of the day, But let's move it along, man. We got everybody pulling up. Raiders are going to be 5-11 this year. Whoo, damn, just like that. Like that? Come on now. I mean,
It's bad. We played 17 games, so maybe we got a chance to maybe we got a chance to go. We're going 5-11 going into that last week,
right?
With a chance to win one more.
Basically the last 2 games, the Raiders have failed to exist. Like they're not going to be.
Exactly. He left us in suspense. We're going 5-11 with the possibility. What does that Chargers get? What do we do against the Chargers?
Right.
Shout out to Raider Pete. This is your guy right here. He says, not really. And he always comes through and support, man. Appreciate you coming through, Raider Pete. Not really a QB controversy. Both can thrive if the O-line gets going. Minshew, the scared mouse, is not it. He called him a scared mouse. If he can't score 1 touchdown in the first half.
He said two contradictory things there. He was like, they both thrive if the offensive line is good. Except Minshew, he's trash. He can't even score. Like, you gotta make up your mind on that one, brother. I don't know if you saying both can be good, or you saying only AOC can be good, or Minshew's trash.
Yeah.
And I have to say this out loud, man. For the record, AOC is doing no better than Gardner Minshew, even if you put him out. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody should know I'm probably literally the biggest AOC supporter. And you're gonna.
I was surprised. But I think I know why. Like, look at the offensive line. I think they looked at the offensive line like, there's no way we can send out AOC, because it's the first thing AOC is gonna do is literally throw it up for grabs, which he almost did. I think he almost had like a pick in that game where he came in.
End zone. It was
yeah.
absolutely 100% a pick. He throwing the triple coverage.
Dude dropped it. He and Chris pointed this out multiple times. If the linebacker didn't touch it, the safety behind him had jumped the route too and was gonna pick it. So the linebacker, if anything, that would have been a pick six. So he's lucky that guy got in the way, because he was gonna house call that thing. So, well, maybe if Trey was on the field, maybe Trey would have caught him. Trey was on the field, but it would have been nobody else was gonna catch him. So yeah, AOC his second snap in that game. I think Gardner Minshew took 2 sacks the entire game. Ain't no second snap that game, he took a sack, and it was our biggest sack of the day. So and it's against a team that's rushing forward, that's basically setting back, like, hey, you know what? We're gonna keep everything in front of us. We're gonna let you march up and down the field. We're just gonna rally and tackle and let you eat up this clock. As long if you can't get 2 or 3 onside kicks on us, this game is in the bag. So, like, it was good that he got those. He got some reps. It was good to see JPJ and Glaze out there. But like what Gardner Minshew, what Aiden kind of put together in that last drive, like that doesn't show that didn't show anything to me to say that he's ready to be the starter, that he'd do any better if he was a starter, to be honest.
Well, speaking, let's move it along. I guess it's a good segue. Speaking of Gardner Minshew, Davante the other day, or actually as today, he was on a podcast show, and he pretty much came out and had some strong comments about the quarterback position. So I'm going to go ahead and this is our notable quotables. It's where we listen to quotes that we feel like are worth listening to and hearing back again, and we could talk about it. Let's go ahead and play this clip real quick.
I know you like both guys, but if we're, well documented, Davante is your support for Aiden throughout training camp, throughout the process. Do you think it's the right decision to stay with Gardner?
I think I support. I don't think anything Gardner's done. I mean, it's been streaky play, and I think we've all played streaky. So it's not about being perfect, being out there at quarterback. And you also don't want your quarterback walking on eggshells, because what message does that send Aiden? The moment they plug Gardner after 3 weeks of naming him the starter, it kind of just doesn't give you a feeling of security, knowing that it's like having a girlfriend and you let her know, you make her feel like every day she could be out the door. Like that's not the feeling that she wants, and I don't think you're going to get the best product out of your girl if she's thinking that she's going to get kicked to the curb every single day. So I don't think that's the mentality that we have as a team. And like I said, I think that moving forward, they're going to give him some more opportunities, and hopefully we can do a little bit better on offense.
So that's Davante Adams talking about the quarterback position, and he had strong support for Gardner Minshew, and he makes some good points. I mean, Turf, what did you think of what Davante had to say?
It's the politically correct answer.
Mm-hmm.
He can't backtrack now and say that he wants Aiden O'Connell.
It's true.
That is just not possible. I mean, if you go that far, I mean, you're really blowing up the team now. So he said what he had to say, and I can't fault him for that. You know what I mean? It's still a team at the end of the day. You guys got to be as one in order to win and survive. So I don't have a problem with what he said. I don't think he believes that, though. I'll be the first to admit that. I don't think that's what he believes.
You think he's still 100% all in on AOC?
I would much rather have Aiden. I think he would.
Yeah, because he was kind of outspoken in supporting him during the offseason.
A lot. And he built a lot of rapport with him. I mean, you even started to see it in the play amongst each other. I mean, he was throwing him balls you know that he would have never normally thrown, but that chemistry was why he did it. So
Yeah. Just real quick, man.
Pause.
But just had to do it real quick. But no, I'm with you 100% because that, like, I literally brought that up with Severe. I was like, hey, look, like, we all know that Davante is an AOC guy. So that's why I was so surprised that, Minshew was named a starter, because it just looked like, just based off the preseason, Davante just publicly supporting AOC. He's built that chemistry. You would think that literally one of the best players on a team, the number one receiver, Davante Adams, the guy that's getting paid all that money, he would have a little bit more say at that quarterback position, when they end up going with Minshew. So, Severe, did you take that as politically correct answer, or did you take Davante's words as, like, you know what, he's all in on Minshew?
I think he's all in. I don't think he's all in on Minshew, but I think he realizes that you can't build anything consistently if you're constantly changing. So if you want to get rid of Gardner Minshew after 3 games, what happens when Aiden O'Connell gets out there and he starts struggling? You gonna get rid of him too? So he understands that if it comes a point in time during the season where, we've kind of given Gardner as much rope and as much leash as we can give him, and he hasn't proven that he can take this offense to where we need it to be, or be the leader of this franchise this year, then you can move on to Aiden, and then you can be secure in that decision and saying, hey, you know what? We gave him the clear opportunity. We waited as long as we can wait, and when it was clear that he wasn't the guy, then we made the move. If you make that move now, then what happens when Aiden goes out there and struggles? Because make no mistake, Aiden O'Connell will go out there and struggle. He will go out there and struggle. He will throw interceptions. He doesn't process well. He waits in the pocket way too long, holds the ball way too long. He doesn't move great in the pocket. And we saw right there, he doesn't. And sometimes he has a bad habit of locking on to a read and throwing the ball even when he shouldn't throw that ball. And he did it in the fourth quarter. He had one drive, almost threw a pick 6 on that one drive. So if you go out there and you throw him out there and he struggles, then what do you do? Right? You go back to Gardner, and then when Gardner struggles, what do? You go back to Aiden, and when he struggles, what do you? It's going to be a wishy-washy. So this way, both guys can play free and relaxed. Right? Last year down the stretch, Aiden knew it was his job. He knew he wasn't going to lose the job. They weren't going to take it away from him, and he was able to play relaxed, and that's when he played at his best. So if that same situation comes up, you want him to feel comfortable saying, you know what, I have this job for the rest of the season. I can play free, I can play relaxed, and I'm not pressing.
But you could also look at it this way, like, and I heard someone make this point, and it kind of made sense to me. I mean, look, AOC, he does get the ball out quick. I think AOC
He doesn't.
I think Minshew holds the ball a little bit longer compared to AOC.
Minshew tries to create more, but just in terms of holding the ball, we talked about it when we did the quotes when Tashawn Reed was at camp with the guy. Was it Brett Coleman? And he was talking about how Aiden O'Connell was just holding the ball like every single play. He's holding the ball way too long. And he's getting sacked. And, of course, they're not sacking him because he's in the red jersey. But he's getting sacked consistently. He's like just holding the ball way too long. He also talked about, hey, I thought, Aiden O'Connell had a plus arm till I got out here and I saw it live. He's like, it's not a plus arm. He's like, it's better than Gardner Minshew's. But that's not saying much, basically. So, they're basically even. And it's just the main difference is stylistically is where they're different. And then I think Gardner is a better leader, but stylistically, or he's a more vocal leader. But stylistically, they're different quarterbacks. You're not getting much more from either one of those guys. So it's just at the end of the day, is in a situation where you really can't protect your quarterback, is Aiden the guy you want back there? Like, you ask yourself that question.
Yeah. Just another DJ says, ever since AOC threw that pick 6 against Dallas in the preseason, he lost all the aura in being a QB1. Yeah, I mean, man, imagine if he didn't throw that pick 6. Would they have made that decision to to start because I mean, I'm just saying it looked like he locked up the starting job, and then when he threw that pick six, it was like, oh man, I don't know. After that, it was like a mixed bag. Like we felt like AOC got the job, but then it was just like, ooh, like you just threw a pick six right before they were going to make a decision on who the starting quarterback was going to be. But you know, it is what it is at this point. I think you got to roll with Minshew. I think you got to give him a little bit more time. We talked about the O-line being bad. It has to improve. Before that, you can't really properly evaluate like the other players on offense. I mean, from running back to quarterback, it is what it is. Hopefully it gets better soon because O-line, like you said, chemistry can get better. We're getting JPJ back. He didn't start the game. He played like 21 snaps. And from those 21 snaps, it looks like a lot of people got a lot of positive feedback from him, like being out there and playing well. So if he could go out there and start, add some talent to that offensive line, especially at interior, I think. And did he take over for Parham? Did he go in at right guard and take over Parham? That's kind of interesting. I mean, interesting. I mean, does he take his spot because I know he's played right guard in college.
My problem is why not Cody Whitehair? I don't understand why you take Parham out and not Cody Whitehair. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and
none of this makes sense, man.
That's Rich Gangarello though, and that's Rich. Not Rich Gangarello. That's Craig. That's Craig. Craig,
O-line coach from San Fran that we got. So
Craig.
Yep.
Montana guy, man. I actually did a lot of background on all of our coaches, man. We got 3 of them that come from a coaching tree and/or roots from that Montana era, which is what I was excited about, particularly on the offensive line, because I've said it a million times, man. Them folks in Montana don't play when it comes to football. They tough. They real. For real, man. And to in our offensive line is so disheartening, man. It's got to be killing him. It's got to be killing Craig. I'm telling you, man, there's no way this is the type of ball he wants as an offensive line. Not coming from a Sonny Lubick team, playing at Colorado State himself, and then just having that toughness. I just know it. I don't know. There's a lot I'm questioning right now in this front office, man. I really don't know who's calling the shots. That's one of my problems right now. I don't know if AP is really the one, right? Did he hire Getsy, or was he coerced or, forced to hire Getsy, right?
Yeah.
Did he not call that 4th down and 1 at the Chargers, or did he? Like, I want to hear him say, guys, yes, it's me messing up calling these calls, so that we do have somewhere to hang our hat on. But that's not the way the NFL works. That's not the way teams work. We all know that. He's going to take the blame no matter the case, and all that dirty laundry is going to stay in house.
Yeah. And the way, it might be a case of too many cooks in the kitchen. Yes. Because how many former head coaches are on the staff? We looked at it as a plus. And then we looked at AP like having no ego and being able to take, a lot of feedback from people who've had more experience. But then when you got everybody trying to tell you, you should go this way, you should go that way, I mean, look, you got the former head coach of the Miami Dolphins. I think he's Joe Philbin. He's an assistant offensive line coach, I believe, on the staff. We all know who am I not mentioning? Rob Ryan is on the staff. I'm not sure. And then we got a former defensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens, head coach for the Bengals for all those years, Marvin Lewis. And I know he has a big role, so big influence on him. So do they?
Hey, don't forget about Tom Coughlin. He's the top dog.
Tom Coughlin, but he's not on.
Right man, his advisor.
Yeah. But he's not with the team. Yeah,
he's not with. But that's his advisor. That is who he listens to. Yeah. These other guys are literally a part of the team, so they got a job. But his mentor, who he's gonna take heed is Coughlin. So are you taking heed from Coughlin? Where are these decisions coming from? That's what I want to know. Where are the decisions coming from?
Yeah,
I think AP said he speaks to Coughlin like every morning or something like that. Something crazy like that. Like, I don't talk to my mama that much, bro. Like, you talk to me every single morning, bro. That's wild. So
Yeah.
It's one of those situations where it's like, yeah, as you said, and especially if they're giving contradictory advice, hey man, some people like, hey man, hey, no, you need to make a change. Make the change of quarterback now. Somebody's like, hey, no, but hey, stay the course, man. Let things play out. So then, like, what do you do at that point? So that's when AP being a young head coach, like it's tough to navigate, especially when you got people who are, especially like you got maybe not as much Joe Philbin, but you got guys like Marvin Lewis and Tom Coughlin. These guys are
Right.
giant,
Respected.
in the coaching industry, right? Marvin Lewis, defensive coordinator for quite possibly the greatest defense of all time.
Yep.
Tom Coughlin, multiple time Super Bowl winner. So I think Tom Coughlin, I want to say he was on the staff with the Giants that won the Super Bowl too.
That's when he won the Super Bowl. Yeah, he's the one that won.
Weapon.
He won.
No, I'm talking about Tom Coughlin previously. I think he was on Parcells' staff. I think he was a wide receiver coach. I want to say on that team.
Oh wow!
Chat can correct me. I could be wrong on that, but I want to say Tom Coughlin was a wide receivers coach on a Giants team that won the Super Bowl as well. So
taking it way back.
So he has some history. He's been under guys like Parcells as well. So that's a lot of knowledge there.
I got one more take from y'all. Hey, I'm letting y'all know if y'all ever get a chance to rock with Peggy, trust me, you want to. But think about this. This ain't checkers. The NFL is chess. Think about the people he could potentially be missing out based on people not wanting him to have them. For instance, who's the offensive coordinator that nobody will give a chance? And he seemed to fit right in for us, to be honest. Is it Bennett? What's his left Redskins? He was with Andy Reid and the Chiefs. I can't believe I'm drawing a blank. He's an ex-running back.
Oh, you're talking about
offensive coordinator.
Like every
Eric Bieniemy.
Eric Bieniemy.
And my thing is, he could have been a hell of an offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
And who talked AP out of possibly getting oh boy. Because think about it. If I'm part of a team and I know that I don't want you winning, the last thing I want to do is give you an offensive coordinator that'll work.
Yeah.
So
true.
I'm gonna give you air. You don't want him. He's trouble. Remember all that stuff in the past? You're a rookie. You don't want to, you don't want to go out, making that mistake so they can talk about you making an inexperienced, right? Like we got to look at stuff that's going on in that world too. There's just a lot we don't know about. We're not privy to, man. It's just.
Yeah. And just to move it along, AP, since we're talking about him, he did have some strong comments after the game. We kind of touched on it earlier in the show, but hear what he had to say.
The team just didn't seem to show up tonight.
No, they didn't. I think as the game went on, I don't think it was a team. I think there was definitely some individuals that made business decisions, and we'll make business decisions going forward as well.
Man. So shots fired, man. So who is he talking about? Who do you think is there going to be like, do you guys foresee like a guy getting benched, getting cut? Do you see right now? I mean, like those are strong comments and everybody's speculating right now and trying to figure out like who is he talking about and who's going to be that player that actually takes, because if you're going to make those strong comments, I think it makes sense to back it up, right? Yeah. And I think it would send a strong message to the team, right?
Depends on if it's named Anthony or Antonio, man. It really honestly
Man, I mean, I think the play everybody's seeing out there is the play with Jack Jones kind of, as they say, Jack Jones made a business decision on whether or not he was going to stick his nose in there and make a hit. So I think that's the obvious one, and we all know that we talked about earlier in the show. He has a very close relationship with Jack Jones, so there's a certain level of understanding, a certain rapport between the two, where he can criticize him publicly and not lose him because of that history there. So I think that could be a shot across the bow towards Jack Jones, but I just think he was talking about, like the defense in whole, man. Like Robert Spillane was out there making some business decisions. Tommy Eichenberg wasn't making no decision at all because he was trash. Um, uh, Merrick didn't look good at all. Epps didn't look good. Masterson looked awful. Like the defense as a whole looked bad. Nate was getting cooked. Jack Jones was getting cooked. JB got cooked on some plays. Like as a whole, our defense did not come to play. They did not come to play. And I didn't know if they expected Carolina to just come in there and lay down, or what the case was. But it's like speaking of Mike Tyson said it best, right? Everybody has a plan. They get punched in the mouth. And we got punched right in the mouth on that first drive, and we never recovered. We were woozy. We're on Bambi legs all game long.
Never recovered.
Yeah. And do we see DJ Glaze? I mean, he had an opportunity to play last game. Do we see him play more? Does he get inserted into the starting lineup? Did they change? Do players get benched, inserted into the starting lineup? There's going to be some changes, so that's what everybody's going to be paying attention to this week, all leading up to the game. Is like, what are those changes going to be? What are the moves that are going to happen? I mean, it could be anything at this point.
JPJ and Glaze.
Well, JPJ, we kind of know that that's kind of obvious. Like he's going to get in there because he's that second round pick. Everybody's been talking about him. I think they're high on him, so that makes sense. But like when it just feels like someone is going to get benched or someone's going to get cut. I don't know. I don't think if someone gets cut, Thayer Munford. Nah, I mean Thayer Munford.
You ain't cutting him to the bench. Send this slow-footed ass to the bench, bro. I'm tired of watching this dude slog all over the field, get beat by Calvin Noy, beat him like a drum. Like, he was getting, bro. Sit this dude down somewhere, man. Sit his ass down somewhere. Let him roll up some weed on the sideline and get.
I got some more conspiracy theory for you. What if he was talking about Luke Getsy? What if he didn't like the play call, business decisions he made on subbing people out, taking Parham out, and maybe not putting JPJ on the left side? Like, who's making these decisions? Because you have to answer to them, because they all fall on his head, and maybe that's a decision he didn't care for. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there because I don't think it was just directed at only players. I think it was directed at everybody across the board. And it came out, unfortunately, that way. And then he had to come back and be Anthony and kind of walk it back. And talk that Sal talk.
Well, because a lot of people have been saying that, right? Like we need to fire Getsy, get rid of him, and let's say if it is Getsy, who on staff can we? Because if you fire your offensive coordinator, you're basically the season's over. It's over.
Yes.
I'm just being real. Like everybody's talking about fire Luke Getsy, we got to get rid of him. But do y'all realize there's nowhere to go up but down? It's not going to get any better. We seen what happened when we fired our offensive coordinator, head coach. Bo Hardgree gets inserted as OC. He did all right, and then he did terrible, and then his experience showed. But we do right. Do we still have that former offensive coordinator on staff from the Washington Commanders or
Scott Turner? I think he's still. I don't know if he's passing game coordinator, but I think he's still on staff. I mean. But, like I said, there was an opportunity for him last year, and they didn't want him last year. So why? Like AP had a choice last year. I can go with an experienced play caller. I'm never before been a head coach, or I can go with this quarterback coach. Like he chose the guy in charge of the position that had played the worst the entire offseason, the entire season. Like our quarterbacks were trash outside of Aiden last year. Aiden was solid. But outside of Aiden, Jimmy G, trash. Brian Hort, trash. We picked this guy who's in charge of these guys to pick. So, like, I don't see him, if he chose that guy over Scott Turner then, I don't expect him to choose Scott Turner now. And then Edgar Bennett, even when he was offensive coordinator, he wasn't a play caller either. So, there's not really a lot of guys on staff that are really qualified. And this is one of the things we talked about when we hired Antonio Pierce is that, teams in the league, they generally hire offensive coordinator or young offensive minds as head coaches, because if you run into some situations offensively, you know what, bang, I can take over play calling duties. Or if I'm already in charge of play calling duties, bam, I can take this off my plate. I can give it to my offensive coordinator. But now, you take play calling duties away from your offensive coordinator, who does it go to?
Mm-hmm.
Who does it go to?
It's great point.
Yeah, man. Great point. But it's gonna be a long season. Let me go ahead and hit up the chat real quick. Rambo Adventure says AP says he talks to Coughlin occasionally when he has some questions. Never said every day. All right, I guess
he said I can find a quote. He said every day.
Super Omicron said maybe the coop is Coughlin dipping in a GM if Telesco's out the door. Oh, that's disgusting if that happens. I don't think I want Coughlin at this point, you know what I mean? He's bed and breakfast. Like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like he just should retire, stay away from that spot. I mean, I think for me, and I don't know how y'all feel about this, why do we gotta hire like the rejects, the leftovers? I mean, Telesco was fired. No team hires like former GMs. Like, if you look at all the great teams in the NFL, they're all built on teams that have a great front office, head coach, and quarterback situation. Why don't we try to make ours? Why are we trying to get former GMs? And I mean, AP, okay, I like that hire. Okay, AP, that was a little, that you taking a risk there. But why don't you pair him with a young GM?
You know,
and I understand experience. Experience.
Lack of experience, yeah.
Yeah, but it's not even that. It goes deeper. All right, so like think about all the decisions that Mark Davis has made this offseason. Right, they were in direct oppositions of decisions he's made in the past that failed. Right.
Mm-hmm.
For example, we had an interim coach take over that galvanized the team. The players loved him. They wanted him to be the head coach, and that was Rich Bisaccia. And what did? We hired somebody else instead of him. So this time, in a similar situation, what does he do? He hires the interim coach. Previously, he had a rookie head coach or a rookie GM, rather, a new GM, and he let that GM hire a rookie head coach. What happened? It didn't work. So this time, he has a rookie head coach. What does he do? He brings in a GM with experience. So he's attempting to learn lessons from the past, but it still just isn't really working out for him.
That's a great point.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, man. I just it's tough that we have to see this happening to our team. Like, I mean, I understand Mark Davis is trying, but like, hey, at what point are we going to hold him accountable? Like, that's a whole different conversation. But it is what it is. Let's go. Actually, let's get back to the chat real quick. The chat is going crazy. I appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We got Ultimate Raider Fan 32 joining us today. Appreciate him coming through. Make sure to head over to his channel and subscribe. Hit the like button, all that good stuff. Man, let's get into the chat real quick. Just another DJ says Telesco should never be involved in hiring any coaches on our coaching staff. His Chargers track record is cheeks. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
If he was part of the coaching staff hire at the Chargers, yeah, he should never be allowed to do that again.
Yeah. But let's actually move it on to what's real, what's not. What's real, what's not. Let's see here. And Severe, if you want to go ahead and give the people what's the first. So this is where we say a statement. We say a statement and we react to it by saying it's real or not. And obviously we're going to react to it and say it's real or not. Everybody in the chat, let us know if it's real or not. So the first statement, I don't know if Severe, you got it in front of you. I can go ahead and read it.
Yeah, I got it in front of me. So the first, what's real, what's not. The offensive line is the biggest issue on this team. Is that real or is that not real?
It's real.
I'm gonna say it's real. It's real. I mean, we literally talked about it like earlier in the show. I think Turf might disagree. I think you said the biggest issue was probably coaching.
Lou Getsy. Lou Getsy.
Well, offensively, the biggest offensive issue is the coach.
But if overall biggest issue is offensive line?
Yeah. I mean, if we're going to get better and win games, I don't care what coach you get, you still need the players.
Right.
You know what I mean? And right now we got definitely two of the worst players on offense, maybe even three when it comes to Cody Whitehair, Andre James, and Colton Miller.
Yeah. Yeah. Severe, do you feel it like it's real or not?
Yeah, man, I feel it's real. I think you can look at certain plays. You can say, you know what? Is Amir, did he have a cutback lane here? Yes. Did he miss a hole there? Yes, on occasions. But generally, there's no holes there. You know, you can look at certain situations. Hey, did Gardner Minshew, did he miss a read here? Yes. Did he go through his progressions too quickly? Yes. But, you know, but part of that, you know, that's a byproduct of not having any faith in the offensive line to protect him. So, you know, I think that we're just not set up offensively well to really do the things we need to do, right? Like the games are won in the trenches. You talked about the Lions early. You know, they have one of the best offensive lines in the league. They have a statue back there, quarterback, but they're able to have a very balanced attack, you know, in terms of rushing and passing, and be very successful because of the offensive line, right? So I think that is the biggest issue. And until we get that fixed, whether that be through these guys, you know, gelling, or we have to change some personnel or change schemes, whatever the case may be, I think that is going to be what determines how successful we are this season.
So we got a mixed bag from the chat. Some people are saying offensive line. We got some people saying the running back. I actually grouped the offensive line and running game together, so I guess that would be the same. But just another GJ says Patrick Graham should not be left off the hook too. His defenses year in and year out can't stop the run. This is kind of true because his days with Miami and the Giants, they had issues stopping the run. Even last year, if you had a point to a weakness on the Raiders defense, it was, you know, not stopping the run. Like I think they were in the 20s, I believe, in stopping the run in the NFL. This year, I think we're one of the worst in the NFL in stopping the run. So it's been an issue. But I'm not sure if it's the biggest issue. And then earlier today, I actually put out a poll asking the nation, asking everybody, what are the biggest issues right now? And the options were offensive line, running game, quarterback, coaching, and run defense and tackling. So this speaks to what DJ was saying in his comment. I'm going to go ahead and post it real quick, and we'll see the results of that. So 65%. Let me see this cut off real quick. Let me see if I can move it out the way. All right, there we go. 65% say offensive line and running game. Quarterback, 10%. Coaching is number 2 with 23%. And then 2% feel like the biggest issue is run defense and tackling. So I think we're all on the same page. Offensive line and then, you know, run game obviously is a big concern, but I think that goes hand in hand with the offensive line. And after that, I mean, I guess the bigger conversation is what is it after that? And is it coaching? Is it the quarterback position? Run defense? I mean, Severe, what would you say your number 2 as far as concerns with the team?
I mean, I think the people got it right, man. I think number two is coaching. You know, I think number 2 is coaching. There's just and just specifically situational football, right? Like we made some very questionable decisions, whether that be decisions made by Antonio Pierce to go for it or not to go for it. You know, whether that be play calls and certain downs and distances, or if you know you're going to go for it on 4th down, then what is your play call on 3rd down, right? Like your play call on 3rd down should make sense. If you know you're in 2-down territory, I don't have to get a 1st down with this play. I can make it 4th and short, knowing I have a 4th and 2 play in my playbook, right? I'm not going to QB sneak behind an offensive line that's not getting any push with the 6'1" quarterback that's not known for being a power guy. Like, that doesn't make any sense. So I think that's part of it as well. But yeah, the chief among them though, offensive line.
Offensive line, and I think Turf. I think you were saying earlier, coaching was definitely a huge concern as well, and I agree with that too, man. Like, Getsy's play calling has been suspect, but definitely offensive line is the biggest issue, and if we can clean that up, a lot of things can be solved with that. The run game, quarterback play, all that, they're all kind of interconnected. But let's actually move it along to the second what's real, what's not.
Just real quick though on that Patrick Graham, y'all tripping, man. I get that.
Go
maybe
ahead.
his defensive run game is pretty tough as far as it doesn't hold up. But the reality is, tell me the defensive front he's had with those teams that didn't hold up. I know he did a hell of a job in New York with the Giants. They always had a hell of a defense. It was just the offense that never did anything. And Miami as well. I mean, he started to build a great defensive line, but it wasn't fully locked in. So, and last but not least with us, we really only got one dog in Wilkins on that defensive line. Don't get me wrong. I love Butler.
Yeah.
There are people that are in training, but again, we got one dog. Like, and to be honest, he's not that big dog. Like, right, your Chris is from the Chiefs, and then the Madam B. I can't pronounce his name right.
Or Matabuke, or Dexter Lawrence.
He's not that. So
people sleep on Dexter Lawrence, man. Dexter Lawrence is a dog.
Yeah.
Give Patrick Graham that type of a defensive line with the way he runs the secondary and disguises. I'm telling you, you're going to get that Yale education. I'm going to just leave it at that.
Timothy doesn't agree, man. He says Panthers look great under Dalton against the Raiders defense. He's like, why did that happen? What happened? I think
that was the players. I don't think that had to do with Patrick Graham. I think the players just flat out shit to bed. Period.
Yeah.
Back.
Yeah.
I agree.
Let's move it along to the second what's real, what's not. And the second what's real not is we talked about this earlier. Kuntz and Epps missing. They're going to be missing the entire year. But with that being said, without Kuntz and Epps, this is the what's real, what's not statement. Without Kuntz and Epps, the defense will finish outside of the top 15. The defense will finish outside of the top 15. Is that real or is that not? Let me know.
Want to take a turf?
That's real. That's real. Real. It's the one thing we have no depth.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
That was all I was gonna say. If we're gonna keep it a bean, we had no depth. We couldn't afford even one loss, and we've got 3 now, I believe. So it's real.
Yeah. The thing is too, if we're not gonna be a top 15 defense at the very least, if not top 10, then the chances of the Raiders actually finishing with a winning record are slim to none, to be honest with you. It's going to be a long season because going into the season, we can all agree that the success of this team, we felt like currently constructed, is the defense being a top-notch defense in the NFL. And if they're not that, then we sayonara to the playoffs. We're not getting to the playoffs.
Playoffs.
That couldn't ring.
Man.
Right now.
Playoffs?
Guys, I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer. I'm not trying to have everybody go to sleep right now, but you're still thinking about the playoffs, bro.
Yeah, man. Look,
I need what you rocking with tonight, because
man. Yeah, he rocking with that. You think about the playoffs. You've been on the Cleveland Brown bench, which you've been kicking it with
you've been passing
with Buddy on
this box.
Nah, man, but I agree, man. I agree. Without Kuntz, Kuntz is what unlocked this defense, man. No, what it was Kuntz, But also, what coincided with it was the emergence of our run game late in the season, right? Josh Jacobs had, I think it was a good game. I don't know if it was against New York or against the Jets, but he had a pretty good game. Then we know Zamir, like he kind of took off the end of the year, right? I want to say over those last like 5 games, whatever, he led the league in rushing and led the league in yards per carry. So we were able to play kind of a ball control style of football, and then we had 2 of the best edge rushers in the league down the stretch in Max and then Coombs, and then the emergence of Jack Jones, and then ironically the international man of mystery Brandon Faison finally stepped onto the field, and he was solid, right? So but without Kuntz especially, right? Epps, I think, is a big piece, and Coach Ryan spoke glowingly about him and about how valuable he thought he was to the Eagles defense, and where the Eagles defense have kind of gone since he's left. But Kuntz was a huge difference maker, and we don't have anybody outside of Max that can do what he was doing.
The Ravens just picked up Ngakwe, former Raider pass rusher. He was out there. You know what I mean? I understand that he's not the best against the run, but he could have definitely helped out in the pass rush department. He's had at least 8 sacks every year of his career except last year. There goes production for you. And last year he was hurt. He played about less than 10 games. So that should tell you something. And I was holding out hope maybe the Raiders can make that move. And this speaks to what the Charger fan was saying, that Telesco, he's not super aggressive. You know what I mean?
You don't like Lamont chasing?
Oh man!
What's old buddy we picked up from the Colts that we got rid of Byron Young for? What's his name? The Oos we picked up. That's that they wanted to draft. For name.
That's right. What happened to him?
Yeah, exactly. What happened to him? He's on a milk carton. He's on a milk carton for real.
Man.
So, I remember that. Now that you say that, yeah, they were high on him too, right? Remember they were like, we had wanted him in the past or something like that.
Yeah, and I called BS at the time because he was drafted in the 7th round. We picked 2 people in the 7th round before he even went, so he couldn't have wanted him that much.
Exactly.
Brandon says, what's going on with Jackson Powers Johnson? Is he still injured? He's not hurt. They're just taking their time, bringing him in slowly. I think maybe this game, hopefully, he'll get the starting nod. He played about 21 snaps. I don't know where they're at with that. But I was holding out hope that we can get Yannick Ngakoue. But, it is what it is. He got picked up by the Ravens. We'll see what he does for them. But at this point, it's going to be hard to get another pass rusher to because losing Kuntz, like you said, is huge, and we don't really have anybody. I guess you can say Snowden, but he's so inexperienced. He needs some time. He needs to get in the weight room. He needs to get stronger. But that's the only guy that you could say probably is a speed pass rusher that we have on the roster. But it's gonna be tough. But hey, man, AP, look, Patrick Graham. Hey, look, this is where you earn that money right there. This is where you come in and you coach. If you want, it's hard to get a coaching job in the NFL, but I think if he can coach this defense to be top 15, I'm not even saying top 10. If he finished, Patrick Graham deserves to be a head coach. If he can, either way.
I think he was already en route to being a head coach. He's just smart about it and not going to put himself in harm's way to where now he's guaranteed a failure as a head coach, right? Because he hasn't won anything as an offensive coordinator yet.
Yeah.
Let alone you know what I mean? So I think he's very understanding of where he is in his career. Same thing with Ben Johnson over at Detroit. They know they got something good going. They know they're running things. And for you guys that's thinking this game has something to do with his call and play call, you need to go watch the tape. You just heard us talk about, hell, our number one guy, Spillane, that's balled out every game previous to this one, right? And had some sketchy plays during this game. I mean, Jack Jones, I don't even want to talk about that. I know 3 plays that might have gotten him fired. He may not even be on the team after the 3 plays I saw. One of them, he gave up a first down on the run game when he clearly could have shoestringed the dude and got him down. I mean, the defense did not play well at all. I don't know what you think Patrick Graham is going to do, you know what I'm saying, for people that's not out there trying to go balls to the walls. Pause. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand where the Patrick Graham – do y'all want to lose the best thing we got on the team? Like,
nah, not at all, man. Not at all. Not at all.
This is where I think Raider fans just go overboard. You just going scorched earth. You're going to boil the ocean. That Patrick Graham is not the problem, ladies and gentlemen. Hell, I might want him as the head coach. Let's keep it a bean.
Man, like I said it. I said it last year. Nobody.
But real quick, we got a few questions and we're going to head out. But Real Men Wear Black says, should we try and trade for Hassan Reddick?
Depends on what they want. Because
that contract, man.
But it's the understanding. It's a 1 year. We got cap space, and it's going to be a 1 year rental. That's what I'm saying. I'm not trading anything valuable for him because we're not going to sign him long term.
It's not going to be a 1 year rental because he got traded to the was it the what did he get traded? He went to the Jets, and he was supposed to be on a 1 year rental before he got his contract, but he changed his mind and decided to hold out. He still hasn't shown up to the Jets to the Jets. I mean, he hasn't shown up. So he's not. He hasn't played.
Oh wow!
So what happened was
there are things you can do. There's things you can do to get. I mean, the Jets can really give him. Hey, we give you 1 year fat money deal, and then you can kind of test free agency. I mean,
I don't know, man.
They have the opportunity to do that because I said this. I said this with Josh Jacobs. It's like it's just stupid because if you your whole thing is you want more money, so you're gonna hold out and lose money in the pursuit of trying to get more money. Like it just is counterintuitive in my opinion. And guys that hold out for long periods of time, their effectiveness and impact on return is usually not great, right? I think outside of maybe what was it, Emmitt Smith was the only guy that I think held in out into the season that really had a big season. Other than that, it usually doesn't work out for you.
I mean, I think a pass rusher can come in and be effective. You don't think so? You don't think a D lineman could come in and be effective? It's not one of those. It's not like he's a quarterback or
it's one of the more independent type positions where you don't depend as much on other people. As running back, you depend on your wide receivers, your quarterback, and your offensive line. All that stuff is important. Pass rusher, you kind of can do your own thing, but even then, though, these offensive linemen, man, these dudes out there, they got a fresh lather on them. They're in season, they're in game shape, their instincts, all that stuff is sharp. You coming off, you can go out there make a fool out of yourself, if you ain't right. So you ain't seen no real comp in a long time. You can't simulate that stuff. It's impossible. You cannot simulate that.
Real quick, I'll throw this one out to Turf. He says, could Telesco be purposely sabotaging AP to bring his own guy?
I swear to God, I was literally about to tell you this needs to go up because my spidey senses are going off now. They have been going off more than ever. Because I've really been paying attention to NFL football. And the bottom line is a lot of people believe that McDaniels did this to Derek Carr, right? Sabotaged him to get his guy. Is it above anybody? In the real world, do people not get management positions, make people's lives hell to go and hire their guy? This stuff happens all of the time. The NFL is not going to be remiss, though, right? That you don't just go over an industry because, it's everywhere. And I can guarantee you that there are people that are not putting AP's best interest for themselves because they're looking out for themselves. Telesco might be in this boat. I don't know. This is why it's so important to find out who really has the power, and we'll never find out.
Right. And there might be some truth to this because me and Severe have been pounding the table, and I think every Raider fan's been pounding the table as far as the Raiders need to get a quarterback this offseason. The Raiders need to get a quarterback. They need to draft one. We didn't do it in the first round. Okay, it's okay. We could get some other prospect to add to that quarterback room and be a nice competition. A guy that has some more potential, higher ceiling. Second round comes around, the third round comes around, the fourth round, the fifth round. Spencer Rattler.
Who do we draft instead of that?
Was still there.
Severe's favorite linebacker. You know what I mean?
Iceberg.
The Ohio State.
This dude moves with the speed of an iceberg.
But hey, I thought it was questionable not getting a quarterback, in the draft. I thought it was a real questionable because just like what did they see in the quarterback room to be like, you know what, we're fine with AOC and Minshew. Like, are you serious? Like a career backup player and then a guy AOC who's drafted in the fourth, fifth round. It was last year. It was like the fourth round last year. But we all know just watching him play, like, yeah, this guy doesn't look like he'll be maybe at best, maybe borderline starter career, but more of a high end backup at best.
Low end starter, high end backup.
AOC, because he's limited in certain ways that you just can't overcome. And it's just hard. It's hard to just, I don't know. And like you said, Turf, you said, who's making the decisions? The AP making the decisions is we know Telesco has the final say on roster. We know that for a fact, right? So, man, that's a great question, man. 808 Raider, man. Shout out to you, man. Appreciate you coming through.
Yeah, over at the Ahern. If y'all in Vegas, go check out the Ahern.
Yeah, definitely go ahead and check out the Ahern for sure, man. We got to get back there again. Timothy's asking, are y'all Pierce believers? I mean, I bought in, but I have my concerns. I'm a little nervous right now because I'm hoping it's not like all talk and no bite with AP.
Yeah, I mean, so I was initially, right, and y'all can pull up the tape. I was initially an AP skeptic. I was not on the AP train, and Pharaoh will tell you who are my two guys. I've been saying all last year, who are my two guys? They were Ben Johnson and Bobby Slowick. Those are my two guys all last year. I said after the Pittsburgh game last year, they're like, yo, if we get rid of McDaniels, Ben Johnson is guy. Then I started seeing what the Texans was doing. I started watching the tape. I was like, ooh, I kind of like what Bobby Slowick was doing, especially when they started early in the season. They were a lot more conservative, but then when they started letting C.J. Stroud throw the ball a lot more, and he got a little bit more creative offensively, I was like, oh, I like what he's doing over there with the Texans. So that was another guy I was saying. So I wasn't an AP guy at first, and then AP won me over. So I'm not going to jump off the bandwagon already. We understood there were going to be growing pains. Everybody thought after the first 4 games, our record would be about 2-2. That's what most people said. Like, hey, if we're about 2-2, that would be our record, right? I think people thought it would be the Chargers game and the Panthers game. Now, it might end up being the exact opposite of that, but I think people thought we would be, we would be 2-2. So I'm not ready to give up on them yet. Even after this year, even if we have a rough year, look what the kneecap biter up in Detroit did his first year, right? He had Dan Campbell. People were clowning him. People were clowning Dan Campbell. Like to clowning him mercilessly. Same thing with Nick Sirianni, right? Clowning him. And then Nick Sirianni is, I think, his 3rd year he went to the Super Bowl. We saw what Dan Campbell was, a few Brock Purdy scrambles away from going to a Super Bowl himself. So we got to let these things. We cannot keep hitting the reset button, man. We cannot keep hitting the reset button. That has been our downfall. Look at the Steelers. How long Mike Tomlin has been there. The teams that keep their coaches in place for a while, Kyle Shanahan, he had some struggles, right? What if they just got rid of Kyle Shanahan after his first year? Like, oh, this guy's not going to work. Peace out, right? Like, imagine that happening, right? Because ironically, the guy that probably saved his job possibly was Jimmy G coming in and playing well down the stretch there. So like we got to give these guys time, and we can't keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. The definition of insanity.
No, facts, 100%, man. Hey, man, we appreciate Ultimate Raider Fan Turf, man. Appreciate you coming through.
Yeah,
Make sure to head over to his channel and subscribe to my guy, man. A great guest. Hopefully we can collab with you again, man. Hey, appreciate you even staying on for this long. We know it's like super late on your end.
Yeah,
man. If you want to let the people know where they can find you and what to look forward to.
Yes, absolutely, man. So the Ultimate Raider Fan 32 on YouTube, obviously that's our flagship platform. You know, same thing for Instagram. I believe I'm the Alt Raider 32 as far as X/Twitter is concerned. And yeah, that's pretty much the main ones. What I really want to pub right now more than anything is the new Turf and Rundown show on Friday nights. I am formally not only inviting you guys here, right, Pharaoh and Severe.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
And every other content creator. You know, I'm basically putting it out there. It's like Fight Club, ladies and gentlemen. So come prepared. Make sure you got your food in your belly and you're ready to get your debate on and you're ready to get your argument on, right? I think it's going to be a lot of fun for everybody involved once we really get things going. And yeah, I like to create that healthy banter, if you will. Of course, it's going to get wild and out of control, but hey, we'll figure that part out later. So you got that on Fridays, man. My guys, man, the Raider Syndicate. You know what I'm saying? Cheeto Linus, Protect the Shield podcast, Chris, and my guy Raider Rundown. Right? That's my crew, man. That's my clique. That's who I rock with. And support all of us, man, including 50-50. I consider these guys family too, 100%.
Appreciate it, man.
We all got the same common goal. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about it, man. I mean, no matter how we feel about this stuff, the truth is we all want to win. So it's all love, man. It's all love. And I really appreciate everybody's support.
Yeah, appreciate D-Menace. I appreciate you posting Turf's link. And we got people, they're subbing already, man. They everybody's subbing left and right. So they're heading over there and subscribing to your channel. And Severe, man, if you want to let the people know where they can find you and what to look forward to.
Yeah, man, y'all know what it is. The Severe Raider on YouTube, on X, on IG, on Snapchat, on TikTok. Everywhere, you know, the Severe Raider. You know, we got the 50-50 show every Tuesday night with my guy Pharaoh. Appreciate my guy Turf on here, man. Been wanting to get Turf on here for the longest time, man. So I'm happy we was able to make that happen. And we got Around the Shield every Friday night. My guy Big Mike as well as Pharaoh. Then, you know, I'm linking up with my boy Chris and 805 as well. You know, usually Sunday nights and then Tuesday like afternoonish as well. So trying to get some stuff popping, man. Got some other stuff coming out too, man. Like I said, I got some film stuff. It's been kind of busy. My son, we in full season right now, so he practices like 4 days a week with a game on Saturday and a trainer on Sunday. So it's just busy for me. But I got some film stuff. I'm definitely gonna start putting that stuff out as well.
Yeah, man. Hey, look, like Severe said, we do this show every week, every Tuesday evenings, nights, the 50-50 show. We'll be back here next Tuesday, but this week we'll have another episode of Around the Shield, which we drop every Friday. Usually we'll drop it on Friday or we'll go live. Just stay tuned for that. You want to make sure you hit the notification bell so you'll be notified. Check the community tab. You can find me all over social media, PharoahNFL, like you see it on the screen, PharoahNFL. NFL. And obviously Around the Shield, man. Hey, man, that is where you find everything, all Raiders every day, updates, clips of the show, memes, all that good stuff on Instagram and obviously Twitter as well. So go, is it called Twitter? I keep calling it Twitter. It's X.
Right?
Twitter. It's Twitter, man. I don't care what Elon Musk say, bro. It's Twitter, bro.
It's Twitter, X. Y'all know what it is, man. X, Twitter. Y'all know what it is. But Instagram, Around the Shield, where you'll find clips of the show and all that good stuff. So make sure to head over there and give that channel a follow. But hey, like I said, I appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to clock in at this point, clock out. Hit hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Turf, once again, man, appreciate you coming through. We're going to do this again real soon. Any last thoughts from anybody before we head out?
It's Raider Nation, baby. One love, man. Let's not give up. I mean, just because we don't make the playoffs doesn't mean we're not making progress. We got to start looking at things differently.
Yeah. Yes, sir. All right, man. We out, man. We'll see y'all soon. Peace.
Justin Fields still
Just win, baby. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.